Hello, welcome to this video of setting up Office 365 email and calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set it all up. I'm going to show you how to do some certain privileges, and I'm going to show you how you can set up your calendars in Outlook, and I'm also going to show you how you can set up your Outlook calendars to overlay into ClickService. We'll also look at how you can search for emails as well within a job sheet so you can understand how it works. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some privileges before we start. So we're going to click on settings and we're going to click on staff, and I'm going to pick a staff member. So I'm going to go to login and privileges within that staff member, and we're going to look at two privileges that we've put in on this version. So as you can see, you've got can access Office 365 settings. So what this allows you is it allows those users to be able to access just Office 365 settings so they can set it up themselves. By default, this will be off. So do allow it for those people you want to set up Office 365 for all by themselves. However, if you want to as an admin user, you could log in as that particular user, go into settings and log in with your admin account and set them up that way if you wish to, which is the way that we will do it, just so you can understand how that works. The next privilege is down here, which you'll see can search and send using shared Microsoft sign-ins. What that means is you can allow users to use the shared account that you can also add as a Office 365 account to Click. So in this case, I am ticking that as allowed. By default, it will be off. Okay, so those are the privileges that are worth looking at before you potentially start with this and setting up everyone with Office 365. So what we're going to do is we're now going to go into settings, and we're going to go down to communication, and we're going to go to Office 365. Now, if I'm the admin user, this is the access I will have, and it means I can create an individual user, and I can also sign in to my shared Outlook account as well. So first we're going to look at email, and you can see here it's Office 365. That's the first thing that you probably need to do. But the next thing really is signing in with that Microsoft account. So if I click on sign in with Microsoft, I'm going to sign in with the individual user. I'm going to click on OK. And now I can sign in with my Microsoft account. Now, if you've already got your Office 365 connected to your Windows, you may see your accounts up here. If you don't, you will have to click on the plus sign and click on use another account. I'm going to click on that, so I'm going to put in one of our accounts that I use for testing. Click on next. And if you have done it before, it will remember those settings and it will put them in. You won't need to put your password in that case, but you will potentially have to put in your password and your two-step factor authentication if that has been enabled. You also might see that your company might have an administrator that might not allow third parties to connect to your Office 365 account, and they would have to accept that via Office 365. They'll get an email, they just have to click accept, and then it would allow that in. That's something to be aware of when you're setting this up. Okay, so I've signed in with my individual account. The next thing I want to do is sign into my shared account. So I'm going to click on sign in with Microsoft, and you've got the second option, a shared account. And this basically means that you can share with a general account, for example, service@mycompany.com. In this example, I'm going to open up my training@clicksoftware.com shared account, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to click on a shared account. I'm going to click OK. And as I've already got it connected, I am just going to click on training@clicksoftware.com. And as you can see, that is now signed in. Again, you will be used for a password and potentially two-step authentication if you need to. Okay, so once that's done, I can now think about potentially sending automated emails through my shared account as well. So this is your property change notification. So if you now want them to be sent through the shared account, you can tick on that. You can go preferred shared account for automated emails is my training@clicksoftware.com. And that will send out your property change notifications from that account. The next thing that you can do is add your signatures as well. So if you've got signatures in Outlook or your Office 365 already, what we do advise is that you put them into Click and they'll be able to be sent through properly. So we're going to click on new, and then when you click on new, you'll be able to type in your signature. So this is what one would look like. For example, I've got my details in here. I've also put a logo in as well. And I'm going to click OK. That's saved and my signature is there. What I've done is I've set as default as well. So that'd be my default signature every time I try and send an email out through Click through my Office 365 email account. Okay, last but not least is this little setting here, which is when you're searching for emails, I've currently got it set to last 4 weeks, but you can put it to last 12 months if you want. It will just make the search a little bit faster the lesser you put in. So for example, if I put last 4 weeks, it will do 4 weeks, last 12 months, it will search for 12 months. Okay, so the next tab is calendars. So this tab here, you'll notice that I've got all my calendars that's shared. Now some of them might be read-only calendars, so you won't be able to do much with it, i.e. export diary items to this calendar. However, the ones that are allowed to be edited, you'll be able to see all of this information here. And one of the first tick boxes is overlay this calendar inside the ClickService diary. So what that means is that anything that I've currently got in that calendar, I can overlay that into the ClickService diary. I'm going to tick that for now, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, if I scroll down, these are all the bits that I can export to my Outlook calendar. So that's a diary, holidays, absenteeism, furlough, jobs, and job engineer planning. In this example, I'm going to show you how to do job engineer planning. So those are all the job engineer planning entries that you've got in ClickService. So if I click on that one, job engineer planning, I can select a category, which will come from your Outlook, and I can select that particular category. So in this case, I'm going to select a yellow category. Reminder, I can set a reminder, so that makes a reminder every time that that particular item is sent over to my Outlook calendar, and I'm going to say always, and I'm going to say 15-minute reminder. You can change that obviously to whatever you want. The next bit is the filter option. So I can say export all the data from the job engineer planning, or it could just be jobs that are assigned to me. In this case, it's Paul Benson. I'm going to say me. So that's fine. That's going to basically send anything that Paul Benson's assigned to this particular calendar here. Then when it is assigned, what I'm going to say is that I'm actually busy. So we're going to assign it as busy. The next bit is actually putting a template on as well, which we'll go through in a bit more detail in a minute, but I am going to select one called job planning template that I have created earlier. So once that's happened, what's going to now happen is all of your entries for Paul Benson will go over to this particular calendar in Outlook. Now what it will do is it will also use this template. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to calendar export templates and show you how you might create one. So what you do is you click on new, and then you'll be prompted to fill in the details for this template. So for example, I've given it a name and I've decided the type. So you could have a template for diary, holiday, absenteeism, furlough, job and engineer planning. So the first thing you do is you can put in a title. So for example, what I want in my title when it's displayed in Outlook is the engineer planning, the job number, and title and the job title. Now you'll notice you've got these tag lookups. So for the title, you can put in any of these tags. So press OK in there, and that's set. Okay, so the next thing that you can also do is create a little bit more within that diary item. So for example, I might want to show the company, I might want to show the job location, the engineer, the job title, and even the click remote URL. So what does this mean? What it means is that if your engineers have a diary and they have click remote, then they can click on the link and it will open that particular job sheet within their device. So what you can do is tag lookup again, and you can use these range of tags if you need to. And they're pretty self-explanatory. For example, you've got job number, customer, job description, location, address, location, customer. And that information will populate and it will go over to your Outlook calendar. So let's press OK. And we're going to come out of the settings, and we're just going to have a look at what that looks like in your Outlook. So I'm going to just open up my Outlook, and we're going to see a diary in my Outlook. So there we go. There's the diary. All the items for my engineer planning for that particular engineer has come across. And I can double click on one of these, for example, and I can see those details in here. And as you can see, I've got my link to my Click Remote site if I need to. Okay, so that is how you set up your Outlook details for Office 365, for email and for calendar. Now the next bit I'm going to show you is just how to search for emails within the system. So the first thing we need to do is we go to a job, for example. I'm going to click on one job that I've done earlier called the little shop, and I'm going to click on one of these Outlook icons, and you will see this throughout Click. So if I wanted to search for an email for the little shop that's regarding this job, I could click on, for example, customer reference. I could click on that email, and it's going to find anything with that customer reference that has been sent to one of my accounts. In this case, we can see one here. two in here actually, and you can see in the body it says, hello, we would like an update on reference purchase order 12345. So what I can do is I can highlight that and I can go save email in documents and comms history. Once you've pressed that, that will be saved in your documents in here, as you can see, that email, and you'll be able to see it in your communication history as well. So you've got those details in there. And that's how you can search for a particular email. Again, you can do it on here as well. So for example, if there's a particular contact on a site, I could click on here and I could find any emails for that particular site. In this case, we've got a few more. And then again, you just highlight it and you'll be able to view it in the browser, view in Outlook, save as an email file, save attachments, or save emails in Documents COM history. Okay, that's it really for setting up Office 365 email and calendar. Thank you very much for listening.